Hi, this is Live from Scrapintherapy, and today I want to create another page in my art journal. Now, this is the last page that I created, and I am inspired by these buildings and these houses that I made here, that I want to create another similar layout, but this time I want to use these images for my inspiration. I want to use, and let me bring it closer, I want to use this one for some of my inspiration. I'm going to kind of try to draw these dolls that you see here somewhere in the images here. I may choose to draw also these. So these are the three pictures or images that is going to inspire me for this layout. Now, one of the things that I want to do is I want to use my papers. I got a lot of these 8x8, so I want to use some of these papers to create those buildings for my layout. I also want to use the papers to kind of paper piece some of the dresses for my dolls, but we'll see how it comes out. So I do need something for inspiration, so that's why I want to use this image. The one right here is the one I want to use for inspiration. Let me go back to it. Hold on. This one. Actually, this one. This is the one I want to do, and I hope you can see it better. So that's going to be my inspiration piece. I found those from Shutterstock.com. So that image is from Shutterstock. And the other images that I have in there is from Photosearch.com. And they're images that you can purchase if you want to download. But I just want to use it for a springboard. It's basically, it's not going to be exact. It's just I use images so that way I get kind of the proportions. So I went ahead and sketched the background on my journal. And sorry that you cannot see it that well. I just lightly sketched the buildings and the landscape. And I'm using the reference photo to kind of get the proportion right. It's not exactly the same drawing or the same image that I've used for my inspiration. But it's just, usually a lot of times I like using another image, even though it's not the same, to just get the portions right. And so then I'm using a lot of pattern papers by Die Cut with a View. And I used a Far and Away. And I also used a Western paper pad that was out about 4 or 5 years ago. So these papers are very old, and they're the 8x8. So I wanted to kind of use the stack, and that's what I'm using to paper piece my background. Here I'm using some gel sticks for the background. And I really like the gel sticks better than gelatos because they're more economical. And they do about the same. I think they're about the same, and they're from the same company, Faber-Castell. Now, earlier you saw me, I was trying to draw a doll, but it was not coming out like I wanted to come out. So then I decided to pull my Prima dolls and use those. And I do love Julie Nutting, and I buy all her dolls. So I have all her collections, and I really don't buy a lot of Prima or a lot of stamps and things like that, but I definitely do buy all of Julie Nutty's stamps. I really love these dolls. Since I'm not using watercolor paper, I'm using my color pencils to
to create the color for the doll's hair and for the skin tone. And a trick, if you are using color crayons, is don't put a lot of pressure. Just lightly add layers of color upon layers of color and the shading. And it's going to look very nice if you do that step. And I'll give you a close-up look of one of the dolls.
So here I use color pencils for her skin tone, and I paper pieced her outfit. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to these other 3 dolls, and I shall be back.
Now I went ahead and put all the layers of paper down, and unfortunately I didn't videotape that when I was doing that. And now I wanted to give it some definition, so I'm using just a regular Martha Stewart color marker and just going and putting a black outline on all the edges of my paper piece. And I also use some painter's paint for the windows. So everything was glued down with a gel medium. And I still needed I felt like I needed some more shading, so I decided to use some watercolor this time because it does have gel medium, so it's not going to soak in the watercolor paint. So I'm going over each of the dolls and some of the images with my watercolor to give it shading. So here's a closer view of the end product. As you can see the shading in my dolls, and I really like how this came out. Especially I love all the colors with the pattern paper. It really looks nice. So I hope you like this, and thank you for watching. Bye now.